Hello again, everybody. It's Takedown. We continue our coverage of the sport of wrestling, coast to coast, border to border, and all the ships at sea. We're going to stop this time in Columbus, Ohio, the home of the Buckeyes of the Ohio State. The head coach joins us there, Tom Ryan. Tom, first of all, thank you very much for the time. I know your schedule's busy. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, Scott.
Let's talk a bit about what's going on at Ohio State. I know you have several under red shirt, which makes the year perhaps a little more challenging, gives some a different opportunity than they might have had. But 5, 6 guys on red shirt does create a challenge, but it's an awesome look toward the future.
Yeah, no, it's we knew going into the season it was a season of opportunity for guys that perhaps may not have been in the lineup, and I think there's been some ups, there's been some downs, and like any professional, when you put a team on the mat, you want to see their best. You want to see these guys live up to their potential, and at times we've seen that, and at times we haven't. So the goal right now is, as we come to the end of the season, make sure that they're wrestling as well as they possibly can.
Talk to us a little bit about Logan Stever as a redshirt junior. This young man, I think, is one of the funnest to watch. His opportunities for a title this year. Talk to us a bit about Logan.
I mean, Logan does things that he's you can get spoiled with Logan Stever. I mean, he just does things right. Obviously a big season for him this year, going for his third title. Through the season, took a loss that I don't think anybody expected. I mean, I think we've seen in this college season, wow, the way some of these freshmen now come into college, how ready they are to compete. So it was a disappointing match, I think, obviously, but at the same time, obviously, I mean, you grow from situations like that. You don't want them to happen, but you grow, and I think that Logan responded the way a champion would respond, and he's turned his workload up, and he'll be ready come Big Ten time, NCAA's.
Also a tremendous student. I know that's something you endorse. Ohio State, from Gene Smith on down, endorses great student athletes, with emphasis perhaps on student even before athlete. Can you talk to that?
Well, I think we all know that very few people in this world make a living through the sport of wrestling. So there's got to be something greater than that. You always look at, God forbid you get hurt, you can never wrestle again. We've been, unfortunate with Derek Garcia, who was a tremendous recruit coming out. And Derek, Derek had so many surgeries on his knee. It was time to stop wrestling competitively. And thankfully, Derek came from a great family. Derek was a great student, and Derek is now, helping out. He's coaching in the area. He's getting his degree. And life goes on. So you don't want all your eggs in one basket. So I mean, obviously Logan is a great student. He cares about school, and he's a leader. So, I said, God willing, he'll finish the season with another title, and get ready for next year, and then hopefully, his plans are to make an Olympic team, and then probably get into coaching after that.
It's one thing to sit back and watch you guys coach. It's another thing completely, I think, as fans, to have opinions. Do you wish that sometimes you could tell the fans everything and how you make your decisions and why, or are some things better left unsaid?
I think probably both. I think and sometimes, regardless of your explanation, your rationale, I mean, we're human beings. We have different opinions. We've heard the good and the bad from our fans of the red shirting people and not. I mean, there are some behind the scenes reasons why we chose, to red shirt a Bo Jordan, who clearly is ready to win, and a Hunter Stever, who's clearly ready, to Nathan Tomasello. So we have reasons, but I embrace the fact that people have questions. I like the fact that people challenge our decisions. I mean, I've always felt that I'm blessed to be the coach at Ohio State. And I'm blessed to represent the people of the state that love the sport. So I like the communication. In fact, I wish I could communicate more with them. We just started a weekly Twitter question and answer with Tom Ryan, coaches at Ohio State. So any chance I can I can get to answer questions by fans, I want to do it. I think that in many sports they have the time to do that, and now with LAC, we're states away, and we're there's the opportunity to communicate is huge, and I want to make sure that we do that.
We're talking with Coach Tom Ryan, the head coach of the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Tom, Ohio is well known for its wrestling prowess at all levels, but it's those young kids that are looking forward to potentially becoming Buckeyes. What do you tell those kids when well, they reach out to you, or you reach out to them as potential recruits? It seems to me you've got a full house.
I mean, obviously we were excited about the future with Kyle Snyder coming in and Thomas Haynes and, Bo's brother, Micah. The future's bright. We signed 5 other guys. Obviously my son's coming in, and J.P. Newton, Seth Williams, Cody Bircher. Who else we got? We got just a handful of good guys. Ryan Harris. So things look good. But, you get this question a lot. You get the question, does my son have what it takes? What does it take to be a Buckeye? What's it take to wrestle at the college level? And I think the most important question, and I read this recently, and it made a lot of sense to me. The answer to that parent, the answer to that student athlete is simple. How much are you willing to suffer? Because we know this. We know at this level, the commitment that's needed, it really is about suffering. I mean, how many more reps can you do? How much pain, how much discomfort can you handle? Because that's going to come your way, regardless of your level of expertise in the sport. In high school, you're gonna go through some tough things, and those that can embrace it and grow from it are the ones that go on to do big things, not only in wrestling but after their wrestling life. So that's a pretty simple answer. To the young people that are looking to be Buckeyes. And of course, Scott, dream big. I mean, dream big, think big. So,
who asked you that question as a young person? Who was the first college coach to ask you that kind of a question?
I would probably say, leaving. I think, I went to Jay Robinson's camps. As a kid, I think I really learned. I went to the 1-month camp 3 summers in a row, got my shirt. I think Jay Robinson was a great example for me as a young person in the sport, and the camp system that he ran, how tough it was. And obviously, I've taken his camp system and brought it to Ohio State. We don't do a month, we do 2 weeks of intense training and really teaching young people that this is the way you've got to work to be successful. So in addition to my parents and my brother, who wrestled, but my parents who set a good example, I mean, you really got to understand it's not about the work level that you think you need. It's about the work level that's needed. And there's often a gap between the two. But I would say that that was probably the first time I saw that, wow, this is a lot of work. And I love it enough to continue to do it.
Do you still have your shirt?
It's funny. I probably have it in storage somewhere. I know I've got some of my old wrestling gear in storage. I haven't worn it lately, but who knows? I might.
Obviously, the colors may have changed just a little bit, but
sure.
The fact is, at one point you earned it. Perhaps there should be an alumni shirt as well for those that have. We're going to bring that up to Jay. I think that's another way for Jay to make $10 a shirt.
Amen. I've talked to Jay quite a bit about his influence, in my life as a leader in the sport, so he knows.
It is, people talk about the Gable effect, but the Robinson effect has been phenomenal as well. We're talking about somebody who's had a major impact on your life, but now there is the Tom Ryan effect. You look at the individuals that not only that have coached for you and those that you've coached, but guys like Matt Moose, for example. Well, Matt is now leading Beat the Streets Toledo and affecting the lives, along with his brother, affecting the lives of young people there in a area of the country that had largely given up on middle school and high school wrestling.
Yeah, no, coaches are, Coach Gable, obviously, my high school coach, Bernie Colombo, my junior high coach, Al Pepe, obviously Coach Gable, Coach Zaleski. I think the bottom line is that coaches, we know this, coaches can have a greater impact on young people than anybody in society. And I know I take that very serious, because I know how they've influenced my life. And the importance of a coach, we're around them a lot. They trust us. And, really, really impacting lives. At the end of the day, I think it's clearly what it's all about.
Is it more real when an individual is broken down? Let's say your athlete is just absolutely exhausted at the end of a practice, at the end of a competition, and then you're really talking. There's no pretense. There's no point other than just having that one-on-one conversation between a coach and an athlete.
Well, yeah, no, it's you're right, Scott. It's raw. It's raw. It's real. It's a human being in his form of. You can see the brokenness. So many times we don't show our brokenness. We go from day to day in different communication, and we don't show it. In wrestling, it rears its face constantly. So there's no greater way than to influence another human being by reaching down and putting your hand out and picking them up. I know you're going through a tough situation. I've been there. I know what you're experiencing. But it takes hands-on touching to really make a difference. And I tell you, in this world, I think with the cell phones, families are dinner, people are on cell phones, your friends come over, you're all sitting in the same room, you're on your cell phones doing your thing. Communication is in jeopardy. The communication that we always knew. Grew up with 7 kids. I didn't have a cell phone until I was 25 years old. As a coach at Hofstra, it was the first time I ever had a cell phone. And there's incredible. There's incredible beauty in the sport of wrestling, and the brokenness that we all experience at one time or another through the sport.
I think that's a special kind of honesty. We're talking with Tom Ryan, head coach of the Buckeyes. Tom, there's been some talk about a new arena, Cavelli Arena, and perhaps a new practice facility. I think I can touch with you on the new arena, the Cavelli Arena. Where are we at on that?
Well, it's in the works. We know it's going to happen, and maybe 2 or 3 years away. Right now, we're competing in St. John Arena, but the Cavelli Arena is an exciting new arena. Wrestling, volleyball, gymnastics will compete in it. I think it's about 4,500 to 5,000 seat arena. So it'll be good good to pack the place and sell the place out. Of course, for us in bigger dual meets, when we're getting 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, our goal here is to break the now Penn State record with the largest crowd ever witness a dual meet. That'll happen in the Schottenstein Center, which can hold 18,500. So bigger duels will be there. The typical duels will be in the Cavelli Arena. We're excited about it. We're also optimistic about the plans for a new wrestling complex. We've been very fortunate through some different donations that have occurred that will have arguably the nicest complex in the world, I would argue. So things are exciting.
I don't want to look beyond number 8 Michigan coming to call day after tomorrow at St. John Arena, but you guys are hosting the Big Tens this year at Madison, Wisconsin. How do you feel about going to Madison, Wisconsin for the Big Tens? It's what an event. What an event. We're up there once this year. Things didn't go the way we wanted, but we're looking forward to the Big Tens, and obviously we host a national duels here. On February 16 and 16, 17, we host the national duels, and like you said, the biggest thing right now on the plate is this rivalry is real. It's
Michigan had a nice win against Minnesota. Michigan recruits Ohio. We have obviously great respect for McFarland and Bourmet and Pritzloff, that staff that they've put together there. So, it's going to be rocking in here Friday night. It's always the biggest crowd of the year. And, we got to get ready for this dual meet. So,
is there a real hatred between the two, not just the two programs, but between Ohio State and Michigan? Is that real, and is that the right word?
Yeah, I think it's real. I would say probably not the right word, but I think there's definitely, without a doubt, a deep competitiveness. No question about it. Look, whether it's synchronized swimming or track, we know it all stems from the football rivalry. But there's no question. Here's what we do. We give out gold singlets for every win. We've won 5 of the last 7, and we copied football. And what we do, I'll show you one of our gold singlets. Every guy in the team, whether you're a starter or not, gets a gold singlet for the win. And the gold singlet has their initial on it. And on the back of the gold singlet, it's got the team score and the year. So, it's a little something extra we do, to make sure that people know that the guys in our team know that, look, we want to win every time we're on the mat. But this is an important match. And, the goal is to leave here with 5 of those things dangling off your chain on your neck. So
it's kind of a cool thing too to be able to share that across the entire athletic department, from Gene Smith on down to all the coaches and athletes. Everybody knows when Michigan's coming to town, and in this case, you've got a pretty special opportunity for people to join in. Groups that purchase 50 or more tickets will have a chance to welcome the wrestling team from the locker room onto the mat. It's called the High Five Tunnel pre-match. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I think in general, I mean, regardless of the sport, as I said, I think people in Columbus, people around the state, when an Ohio State team plays a Michigan team, even if you're not a tremendous wrestling fan or it's not a tremendous swimming fan or track, you go watch the competition. Obviously, they're class institutions, they're high-level athletes, student athletes, and so we've always drawn huge crowds. I think the last match we had with them was maybe 5,800, 6,200 people. So we'll have a big crowd again. It's been cold here. Hopefully the weather holds. We have a nice night. It's this Friday night, January 31st. So
got to be a lot of fun. And again, we want to go back to Madison. Well, you had a rough go of it there. Obviously, Madison and the Wisconsin Badgers are struggling a bit as well. Is there a certain pressure of hosting a major event like the Big Tens or perhaps the national duels that adds a little to your plate, or are there people on campus that are helping to take that load off so you can do what you do? Let's face it, in the middle of the season, last thing you want to be doing is taking your eyes off the prize.
Yeah, no, for sure, Scott. I think that I can't speak for other universities, but I know that at Ohio State, Erica Hoon, who is head of facilities here for events like this, she's amazing. We had a meeting the other day with about 20 people in it. That was just unreal to see the support network here to make sure this thing goes off smoothly, the national duels. And, just pretty fortunate that we've got that. Not every program has that, but here they want to do things right, and I'm sure this is going to be a first-class event here on February 16 and 17, the national duels I'm talking about. And then, of course, as you know, the Big Ten's the following year, Logan Stever senior year.
Yeah.
It's going to be an exciting time for us here in 2015 as well.
I don't even know if you guys planned that, but I think, if I'm Logan Stever, I want to wrestle my final Big Ten championship. I want to do it at home, and I want to. That's most likely a St. John Arena event, wouldn't you say?
Scott, yeah, it'll be a St. John Arena event, and I would say that when I look at what we have returning, and the fact that it's Logan's senior year, the fact that it's Bo Jordan's redshirt freshman year, the reality is that 5-6 years ago I couldn't have scripted this any better.
Right.
To be hosting the Big Tens, have the type of student athletes we're going to have in the lineup, up and down the lineup, It's really, really exciting, and we obviously will deal with the next 60 days are critical for a lot of guys in this program, and then we'll prepare for the next season the day after that. So, but it's exciting. There's no doubt about it, Scott.
Final topic for me, and I don't want to stir up the pot too much, but recruiting against Northwestern in Ohio. It seems to me that Ohio State and Northwestern, particularly you and Coach Periano, mixed it up enough, or maybe not enough. It seems to me that everybody now is kind of balancing out where they're going to go to school. Yeah. How real is that rivalry in recruiting?
Well, I would say, look, with all the Big Ten schools, I mean, Ohio is a state that year in and year out produced the best wrestlers. I mean, you got Ohio, Pennsylvania, and we know, look, California, New York, New Jersey, there's a lot of states that produce great kids. But there's a lot of tremendous student athletes from this region. I mean, look, 3 of the last 5 years, the number 1 pound-for-pound wrestler in the country has come out of the state of Ohio. You got David Taylor, Logan Stever, and Bo Jordan. So we know the type of talent that is produced in the state. And these Big Ten schools, not only Northwestern, Michigan State, Michigan, Purdue is in Ohio constantly. Penn State is in Ohio. So and they should be in Ohio because there's a lot of great wrestling in Ohio. So it's a real rivalry. I mean, we're recruiting against these schools, and the main thing is that we got to get the guys that we absolutely need. And I don't know how, and I want to be optimistic, but I don't know how it's possible that we could grab everyone. There's just too many good guys and not enough spots to go around. So we understand that schools are going to come in and try to recruit Ohio talent.
All right, and I guess this is probably our logical close. It's been a really unpredictable year for a lot of folks. I believe almost everybody has lost. There's only a couple out there that are not undefeated. But have you sat back and talked with your staff about this? I mean, it's in many ways an upside down season for a lot of folks.
Yeah, no, I would say team-wise, obviously, some teams that you wouldn't have thought would lose have lost. I think the bigger issues you're getting to, I think, is the individuals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if someone told me that Logan Stever was going to get beat this year by a freshman, I would have disagreed strongly. I think Kuhn at Michigan's done an incredible job, and there's I think what we're seeing is the number of learning opportunities that are available, the number of competitions that are available, the coaching out there. We're seeing young people come into college with thousands of matches, with an immense amount of knowledge. I mean, I know for me as a kid growing up, Scott, there was no way to find out when the next tournament was. I had to know somebody that was involved in the sport, at the fundamental level. Now you can get on, you can watch your show. You can see when the next big tournament is. You can watch technique. You can watch Sergey Beloglazov, John Smith.
Yeah.
You can watch Jordan Burroughs. You can watch the level of learning is incredible. So they're coming in ready. I mean, these guys are ready to compete. So I think we're going to see more and more of it.
No, so this may only be the beginning. And maybe this would be something we would expect. I won't be as surprised about it should it happen again in the future. Tom Ryan, always good to talk to you. Best of luck on the weekend. Of course, Michigan's always tough. And, of course, then the Big Ten championship only weeks away in Madison, Wisconsin. We're going to be looking forward to seeing you. Best to your staff. You've got some very talented men there who are assisting you. And the beneficiaries, of course, are the student athletes that wear the Buckeye colors.
Hey, thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
That's everything. Good stuff. Thanks.
As always, Tom Ryan, the head coach of the Buckeyes, has been our very special guest.